So let me get this straight. Okay, so because this is a perfect set where you have your green card, your SAG card, and you can't get work.
You're the son of Greek immigrants, raised in Canada. You moved to Hollywood to follow your attraction to the glitz and glam of the film industry. I got that impression while going through your collection of pictures on your website that you are not just somebody that works in film, but you're somebody that really appreciates the process and really all of the aspects of it. Because looking at your pictures, it was like images that I would have taken if I had the privilege of being on the film sets that you were on, just like capturing these moments in time. But your move to Hollywood at first didn't work out as you'd hoped. You ended up moving back. Can you tell us a little bit about, because mostly our show is for actors, aspiring filmmakers, so we're really interested to hear about the stories of the struggle and how other people can or might relate to that, and what ultimately led to Nick Cage.
Well, that's just a long-winded answer. First of all, it's a long question. What are you guys drinking?
Well, he's drinking Blue Moon because we're switching roles here.
Okay.
Normally, I'm the drinker, and we're both the connoisseurs, if you will. But he's drinking today.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good. It's good. It's 6 o'clock out there, and I've got water, and I just had coffee, so I'm good. I'm on a lot of coffee. I've had today, so.
Well, he's normally on coffee, or we're both on it, so somebody has to look out for each other.
Yeah.
So the story is very typical. It's not a unique story. It's like anybody else who goes into Hollywood and thinks that they're going to make it, or they take acting classes, and everybody ends up in a restaurant or something to fund their lifestyle, just like to pay the rent and stuff. It's very typical, and there was nothing special about that. Other than I realized I sucked as an actor, and I sucked in acting class, and I sucked when I got a couple of parts here and there, and I gave myself till I was about 30 years old. I think I got there. I went in and out from the age of 25 to 30. I came and went out of LA, and I was in and out of like, am I going to make it? Am I not? Am I good? Am I not good? What was happening? A lot of stuff was also happening because I had to leave the country a couple of times because I was illegally living there, which wasn't a good thing. So and then I got caught and went to jail. That's all in the book, which will be coming out hopefully next year. I'm rewriting it, but that was a big part of it. Then once I landed in jail and had to leave the country, blah blah blah. Stupid things happened. I kind of gave up everything. I went back to Canada. I went to Vancouver this time, and things didn't work out there either. And then I won what they call the green card lottery, guys, in the late 1980s. And it was for certain applicants of certain countries. And it's actually a lottery. If you win, you actually get a green card. And my old man, who couldn't speak a word of English, would see it in the papers in Toronto, and you could enter this lottery as often as you like, and if you win, you win. And so he would go to the post office every day, like an old Greek immigrant dude, and would just like walk out there and put a mail and a stamp in there with this form. It was never filled; it was just the same name. And lo and behold, I won. And I won the green card lottery within 6 months. Then I had to go through a whole rigamajiggy thing. And then I came back to LA to see if I would make it. And I realized I was even worse than I was when I first got my SAG card over a couple of terrible films. One was called Terror Squad, where I played a Lebanese terrorist, which actually got me my SAG card to begin with. And the whole thing was kind of like weird and wacky. But I was your typical field actor, but I thought that, oh my God, I know I'm going to make it. Somehow I'll make it, this and that, and blah, blah, blah. And as it turned out, of course, I didn't make it. And at the time in the 80s, though, guys, my look was not in. The only person who looked like me in TV shows or on films were actually like terrorist-looking guys. Or John Stamos was on a soap opera, but everybody else was very waspy white. And I would always go in for a role to play your typical Jersey wop. It was always that kind of a look, or you played a terrorist. That was the look. There was nothing else. I was too dark to play this Latino thing. And secondly, there's so many Latinos out there who can play those roles. And and it was very difficult. So they really were looking for people like me back then. Today, I'm part of the group. Anybody of any color and any background and any race now has an equal opportunity to actually succeed as long as you have talent. But back then, it was really a visual. And if you look at all the TV shows, all the actors on those shows were either white or black. And that's pretty much the way it was. I mean, you guys know your TV and your film. And very few Arabs or Italians or Greeks. The Italians always played mobsters. Greeks always played like they had a diner and some greasy spoon of bullshit. So really, the roles were minimal. So there was no way to ever make money to see that you were actually going to succeed, even if you were good. So when I realized that, I thought, okay, this is not working out. It's time to go home. And then the riots kicked in '92 and so forth and all that kind of crazy stuff. And when that happened, I decided that was it. I'm done. I wasn't getting into parts. Nothing was good. The times were rough. There was, the economy was in the shits in the early '90s. And I was a broke, bankrupt waiter who couldn't get a job to do it. I couldn't even get a job as a waiter at that point. This is even after I got my green card and went back to LA, guys.
So let me get this straight. Okay, so because this is a perfect set where you have your green card, your SAG card, and you can't get work. So what I want to tell people is that when you, and you know this, you know this, and I know this, when most people say they want to be an actor, they either think they're going to be a star, they think they're going to be a co-lead, or they think they're going to be an extra. Hell, at worst case scenario, craft services. So before we go any further into your career, we want to be sure that people have a full understanding of what it is to have a job as a stand-in. Can you explain the common responsibilities that you were tasked with in that position? Because a lot of people don't say, hey, kid, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a stand-in.
Yeah.
You tell them what it's really like.
I will. Let me go back to 1 second as we go there as an actor thing, just to like tap into that thing. The other truth is that I didn't give my end all to being an actor. An actor is a real hardworking person like Nick Cage. And I'm going to get to the stand-in point, and I'm going to say why the stand-in position was really relevant and very important to me, because I recognize what actors really did. So when you are a non-actor or a wannabe actor or wannabe movie star, it's great to be the wannabe. But the hard work was what I didn't know how to do. There was a lot of studying. You had to like live and breathe acting. You had to live and breathe plays and film stuff and study things and memorize stuff. And I didn't realize how much work was involved. It's not like today's reality stars of just bullshit. Like, this is the real thing. And this is why those people were successful. As lame as some of them are on screen, the amount of work none of us really saw. And that's what got them to that point. So I didn't put in all that work to begin with. So all those people who are wannabe actors, it's an enormous amount of work. You got to work 80 hours a week to get to the point of even getting on a show. So I just want to make that clear. And I didn't commit to that because I was committing to working to pay the rent, and it was very difficult. And then I could only do so much. And I had a little talent, which I didn't expand on. So that's where I wanted to go with that one. So you really have to work hard, and I don't regret my position or anything, because I really wasn't cut out to be an actor. And I think a lot of people get very depressed that they're not going to make it, and then they succumb to drugs or drinking or some kind of wacky kind of other lifestyle, and they can't look at themselves in the mirror anymore. Whereas I completely saw myself, dude, you are a lousy actor. You're not putting in the work. You need to wrap it up and go home and figure out your life. And
I'm glad you said that. I mean, it's just a really good point, because acting is one of those things where if you haven't done it and you're just watching people do it, it's like, oh, I could do that. But is the great actors make it look as easy as it is for people that have never done it before to just assume that there's no effort applied. It is such a skilled thing, and you could tell the difference between somebody that is applying no craft to it and somebody like Christian Bale or Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, I totally agree. And you don't really see that while you're auditioning and while you're doing maybe some shitty little play or some scene in class as much, because you don't know what the other people are doing. The other actor types who are in your class, most people drop out and have another career. They fall back on what they went to school for, or they go into some family business of some sort. Then there's a bunch of others that you read about that kind of fall through the cracks, and they all get nuts and they go into like crazy stuff, and they lose their lives and their sense of equilibrium and so forth. I, like other people, decided, okay, this is not for me. I got to figure something else out, and let me go back and restructure from home. And it's very humbling to go all the way home at the age of 30 and go back to your parents, your old bedroom in your old house, and have no car and no money and no job because it's the 90s, and you're trying to get a job as a waiter. But now I'm in my 30s, and I never did go to school because I'm very ADD. So I actually went to school. I didn't even do high school. I mean, I just didn't do school. So I didn't have anything to fall back on except for being a waiter, which is what I was, and a restaurant manager in LA. And I thought, well, that's all I can do. And that's what I was doing again. So I thought I'll try to get a job and go back into the restaurants. As I did that, being back in Toronto, back home, and this is, by now it's 1993 going into 1994. There's kind of like a worldwide recession at the time. I'm just in my early 30s. I'm in my prime. At the time, I looked like a model boy. I still had all the, I had a decent physique. I had a decent face. I had all that stuff going on. I was early 30s, but I was a whippersnapper, but I couldn't get a job. And I was stuck in the immigrant family home, and it was very difficult. Lo and behold, I signed up with an extras agency in Toronto just to make some extra money because I wasn't even making enough money as a waiter at the time. And that extras agency, because I was already in the unions with ACTRA and with Screen Actors Guild, I never gave up my union cards. I didn't know what was ever going to happen, guys, but I thought it's such a privilege to be a part of those unions, even though I'm really not an actor. I was kind of like a wannabe actor, but I got lucky enough to get in. I got Taft-Hartley into both unions, both in Canada and both in the States. And at this point, I had a green card, and I went home with a green card. So I had a green card and citizenship in Canada and my union cards in both countries. So I can actually work. If something ever came up, I can work. Or you can do some union background work, whether you're in SAG or you're an actor. So I thought, okay, under the union rates, maybe I'll make some more money, and I can pay some bills as an extra. And the agent sends me out for a stand-in go-see for Nick Cage. And she says, I think you're a dead ringer for this, blah, blah, blah. She says, but it's a 2-hour drive to Niagara-on-the-Lake, which is close to Niagara Falls. And you have to get out there, and that's where the audition is, and blah, blah, blah. And I said, I don't even own a car. I said, I'm fucking broke. I said, I don't have a car, and I can't take one of those big coach buses. She says, that's okay. I have another guy going in for an audition, and he has a little putt-putt car, and he's going to go in for Dana Carvey. And so you're going to go in for Cage, he's going to go in for Carvey, and I want you guys to go nail it. We go in there, we both get the jobs.